Can't you see what's happening? The world is crumbling, people dying, families crying for the ones who've fallen ill. Can't you see the pain that's happening every day? It's not getting better, we need to work together so that we will be able to go outside to see our friends and family and tell each other I'm glad you made it out safely. I know that isolation is making us a cleaner nation is not as easy as it seems, but we're preventing COVID-19. When you watch the news and you see people.
The following message is long and will require all of your concentration. Try not to touch your other devices until it is over.
Hey there everybody, welcome to another week and another video. So, how is everybody doing today? I bet that lots of you are doing great, fantastic, couldn't be better, you've had a fantastic day. But I bet there's others there who are having different kinds of feelings. Maybe you're unhappy today, maybe you're a little bit anxious or worried today, maybe something made you angry today, or maybe you're just bored. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in today's video. It's okay to have lots of different feelings. You might be having all sorts of different feelings in the one day, and that's perfectly normal. Especially at times like these, people are going to be having all sorts of different feelings. The biggest mistake we make when we come to feelings is thinking that if we're not happy, if we're worried, if we're anxious, if we're angry, is thinking that it's going to be like that all the time. Because if we really think about it, we know that that's not true. That's never happened before. And it won't be long before we're feeling better, we're feeling happier, we're not even really thinking about our feelings at all. So the biggest mistake we can make, first of all, is to think, this way I'm feeling right now, if it's not great, if I don't like it, thinking that it's going to be all the time. And as soon as we think, well, you know what, this way I'm feeling that I don't like, it's only for now. Maybe it's for the next 10 minutes, maybe it's for an hour, maybe it's for today, maybe it's going to have to be the way I'm feeling for a few days, but it's not going to be forever. I'm going to feel much better before too long. If you can remember that, you'll start to feel better almost straight away. We spend a lot of our time trying to never feel bad. If I feel bad, I don't like it, I don't want to be anxious, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be unhappy, I don't want to be sad, I never want to feel that way. Or when we feel great, we think, I want to feel this way all the time, this is it. I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm excited, I want to feel this way all the time, this is the way I should feel all the time. But of course, we're never going to feel one way all the time. It would be silly to think that way. We have to accept that our feelings are going to change. That can be really useful if you're feeling bad because you know that bad feelings will pass. But I want to talk about one particular feeling today, and that is boredom. Feeling bored. How many of you, by now I think 9 weeks since school closed, how many of you are just bored in the house and you're in the house bored when your schoolwork's all finished, obviously? So I'd like to talk a little bit about that today, and I'd like to talk about how boredom is actually a fantastic thing for you and for your brain. Being bored is another one of these states, one of these feelings that doesn't last forever. It's not going to be all the time. But when you feel like you don't have anything to do, anything that you want to do, it can seem like that lasts a long time. Now, similarly, what we call the state of flow, so when you're loving doing something, when you're so engaged and you're excited that you just don't notice the time pass. I'm sure you can all think of times like that. I'm sure you've all had lots of lessons and classes where you've looked at your watch and thought, oh wow, it's the end of the lesson already, that went in 5 minutes. That's a state that we would like to have all the time, but of course we can't have it all the time. We don't want to be bored, but sometimes there's not going to be as much to do as at other times. So again, we just need to accept that we have these two states at different times. How can we handle boredom? Well, the secret perhaps is to thinking about how valuable boredom actually is. First of all, research has really shown us that boredom and being bored can massively boost your creativity. Now, how many of you would like to be artists, some sort of artistic profession, which could include things like architecture and engineering? But also, how many of you have decided you want to be business people? How many of you have decided you want to be entrepreneurs? What research tells us is that boredom is often the thing that comes just before imagination. Because if we don't have anything to do, it forces us to go into our own minds, to perhaps create new situations, imaginary ones, new scenarios. And from that imagination often comes creativity. And who ever heard of an entrepreneur who wasn't a creator, who can come up with things, who can solve problems? I'm quite sure if you were to go and interview lots of the most successful entrepreneurs, you would find out that they probably spent a fair bit of time being bored at some point, which helped them come up with some of the solutions and ideas that they have. It can be difficult for young people nowadays to be bored, perhaps more than some adults were when they were younger, because you have these devices now. And whether you're playing games on a tablet or an iPad, or using social media on your phone, or again, even playing games on your PlayStation, Xbox, all of these things, whether they're games or social media, are designed to give you little hits, little feedback, little things that make you feel good. So it might be a little reward in a game, it might be a noise, it might be collecting coins or other prizes, or getting to a new level, or on social media, it might be likes or shares or comments or anything like that, that just is designed all the time to be giving you something that hopefully makes you feel good. We didn't always have those. What that means now, though, is that when you don't have that, you don't have access to that perhaps, it can be easy to think something's wrong, because I'm so used to being stimulated every 5 seconds, every 5 seconds, every 5 seconds, that means that time without stimulation can seem like an awful lot longer than it actually is. But of course, social media is not a bad thing, especially at times like this, if it means that you're interacting with your friends because you can't see them at school. But have a think about how much are you using your devices for that genuine communication and interaction, and how much are you really just letting it broadcast to you? How much are you even involved? How much are you just scrolling, watching, right? How much are you actually being creative and being a communicator in that process? Another thing that boredom is fantastic for is increasing a sense of independence. If you have nothing to do, then by using the imagination, being creative, finding new things, you're going to find out what it is you really like to do. And that means you're going to find out who you really are, I guess. Try things that you don't like, then you find things that you do like. That will help dictate the person that you become. If you spend an awful lot of your time playing Candy Crush, being on Snapchat, TikTok, playing Fortnite, that might be taking up your time. It might be something you like to do with your time. But is that who you are? Is that who you want to be and who you want to become? If someone says, so what do you like to do? Just watch TikTok videos. TikTok's a good example. It can be very, very creative. But how many of you are using it to create? And how many of you are just scrolling and liking and scrolling and liking? I wonder if you've given any thought to something that you've always thought you couldn't do. So again, in your sense of self, have you already decided, I'm not good at playing the guitar? I can't do a somersault on the trampoline in my back garden. Well, here's a great cure for boredom right now. I'm going to tell you that there's nothing that you can't do. Once upon a time, people thought that you could not run a mile faster than 4 minutes. We just thought that the body would break down. It wasn't possible. And then a man called Roger Bannister did it. No one could quite believe it, but within a few months, someone else had broken his time, and then someone else broke their time. And now, I think more than 1,000 people have gone incrementally faster and faster over the years since he first did that. He showed us that you can do something that perhaps you thought before you couldn't. So I want you to ask the same thing about yourself. Is there something you've always told yourself, I can't do that? I wouldn't be good at that? Well, when you're bored, now is the time to fix that, because I can guarantee you all it takes is motivation and practice, and perhaps a little bit of support and encouragement from those around you. So is there something that you could get really good at? Why not try it? Why not use this time when we all come back to school to not only have a new skill, but to also realize what I'm telling you is true, that you can do anything. You can do anything. You see, the sooner you learn that it's up to you to make your life interesting, the better it will be for you. It's not your parents' responsibility or your teacher's responsibility or your friend's responsibility. It's yours. It's your responsibility to make your life interesting, and it is in your control. The times when you'll make that decision are times when you're bored. It may well be that in the future you get your dream job. I don't know. I have my dream job. I'm so lucky. But there are days sometimes where I have to work my way through lots of emails. That's not the job I imagined when I was at school and I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't think I want to spend all day in front of a computer. Well, probably didn't know what email was then. That's not what I wanted. But I know that I can sit down and do that, even though that's a boring part of my job, because I learned, as I said earlier, we can't always be in that flow state of you don't see the time passing and you're loving every second of what you do. But because I'm prepared for that boredom, that's okay. It's not something that bothers me. Now, if you really can't cope with boredom at all, if you need that stimulus from your phone or your tablet all the time, how are you going to be able to get that work done, whether it's studying for exams or later on when you're actually in a job? So when I said it increases your independence, that's really also about the kind of person you're going to be and how you are going to be when you work. Are you going to be someone that can do those less exciting things without constantly having to look at your phone, check your phone, play a game, have a break? Or can you just get it done and have some discipline so that you can then go and enjoy your own time however you really want to? This is especially difficult for those of you that might have attention deficit disorders. And if you already know that about yourself, then you should know that you're going to become bored much more easily. You're going to find it more difficult to concentrate for longer periods. And it may well be that also if you've got an activity you would like to do, you're going to find it harder to plan and structure so that you can really stick with that thing and see it through. The best thing you can do is, as I said, to really be aware of that and then look for help and support. So at times like this, it might be that you want to say to mum or dad or a brother or sister, I've got this project I really want to do. I want to make this model, or I want to reorganize my bedroom. Can you just help me plan for it a little bit? And then can you just help me work my way through it? Because I really want to get it done, but focusing and not getting bored can be quite difficult for me. So ask for help. And for those parents who are watching, if your son or daughter is telling you, perhaps often, I'm bored. We all know the things we often say. We say, go outside. Well, some people can't go outside now, or they say, read a book. But actually often, your child may not be looking for something to do. Your child actually may just be looking for some attention from you, actually some genuine connection with you. That's often what we find is at the root of the whiny phrase, I'm bored. So what I've done is, down in the description below, I've put a link to over 100 things that you can do with your child to not only boost connection, but also to develop their emotional intelligence. So I hope you might have fun with some of those. Lastly, one great benefit to being bored, as I said, it encourages you to think about who you want to be. It encourages you to be creative and to have ideas. Well, we all know at St Andrews we want to be very service-minded and think about other people. So perhaps that's time where actually you might start thinking about other people's problems, not just about yourself, if you allow yourself enough time to really think about it. And so after a while, you might identify an area where people need help, and then by having the time just to think it through, You might come up with a solution for something you can actually put into action to help that person or that group and go some way to solving that problem. How fantastic would that be? And then think about the way that you would then feel about yourself at the end of it. Now, it could be something as simple as, Mum and Dad seem really busy, how can I help around the house? Could be something that simple. It doesn't have to be a huge international charity project. It could be helping your brother or sister with their learning, or with something they're finding a bit more challenging because they're younger. There's something you could do, not just to keep busy, but to help yourself develop into the person that I know you probably want to be. So there we go. It's okay to be bored. And actually, it can be really good to be bored. It can be really healthy to be bored. But hopefully, there's a lot of ideas there for you to help you deal with boredom. Something you could do is just draw a picture, paint a painting. Let's have a look at this week's gallery. Well done to all our gallery artists this week. If you have a painting or a picture you'd like to share with us all, send it in. We'll add it into next week's gallery. Now, last week we watched Noah's video, which was part of his exhibition project, and we have some more exhibition projects to share with you this week. And they're definitely very creative ideas. Being exhibition projects, they're very service-minded, and they're the sort of thing you might want to try out if you're bored. So Ella wrote a fantastic storybook and she shared the story with Pre-K2, and it's all about how the Irwin family are helping to protect koala bears. So I've put the link for that down below if you'd like to click on and have a look at Ella's ebook. Today we're going to finish the video with Caden's film that he made as part of his action component, and it's all about potable water.
Hello, my name is Caden Costin, and I chose to research the lack of clean potable water in the world. Water is so important because you can live for a while without food, but you can't live without water. My video shows how bad the situation is, but also shows how some people are working hard to fix the problem. Enjoy.
More children die from diarrhea caused by unsafe drinking water than from HIV/AIDS and malaria combined. We can do something about that by providing clean drinking water. P&G is working with more than 100 partners to provide clean drinking water around the world. Communities in Tanzania that have to collect water from open water sources that are highly contaminated and cause a very high level of sickness and even death from waterborne illness. Suzanne collects water up to 5 times a day. It's about a 10-minute walk. It's a very contaminated water source. It's a shallow pond that they've hand dug, and their cattle and goats, that's where they go, and that's where they get their water, and it's the only source of drinking water. The P&G packets work like a dirt magnet. They pull the dirt, worms, and parasites from the water, leaving behind crystal clear, healthy drinking water. We started with some very dirty, contaminated water, and in just a few minutes, you can see the difference, and it makes an incredible difference in people's lives.
Najisikia vizuri kwa sababu na wanapokunywa sina wasiwasi yote kwamba wataathirika na magonjwa.
I hope that this gave you inspiration to help. Here in the Bahamas, some areas in Freeport and Abaco are still struggling with getting enough drinking water. The Head Nose Foundation is one of the groups that you can donate to that are trying to help with this problem. If you would like to help with a huge problem around the world, please go to csdw.org, which is PNG's website, and there you could donate. With just $1, you could help a child get clean water for 50 days. Thanks for watching.